Howdy, hi. This is Do Your Job Sports College Football Week 10 Picks and Predictions Part 2. Let's get into the video. All right, this is the Part 2 of the Football Week 10 picks. We have 8 more picks and predictions, so I'll get into these games that I am betting and tell you why I got money on them. First game, Ohio State, Penn State. I am taking the under of 47.5. This is probably the game of the week. Penn State quarterback Drew Aller questionable with a hand injury. Ohio State once again might dodge a bullet at the correct time in the season. These are two of the best offenses and defenses in the entire country. Offenses are ranked 15th and 21st in yards per game at 478 and 470. Defenses are ranked 6th and 12th, giving up just 269 and 289 yards a game. Seeing as though this game is at Penn State and their quarterback is banged up, they should be looking to own the time of possession and run the ball a decent amount against this Ohio State defense. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely insane. Normally, when Ohio State plays at Penn State, Ohio State's obviously going to be ranked top 5. Penn State normally sitting around 15 to 20. But now you get a higher ranked Penn State undefeated at home, a chance to literally write the rest of their entire season with a home win here. They need this game more than fish need water. They have to have it. And then if Drew Aller is banged up, I don't think they're going to be throwing the ball through the air this much. Penn State's margin of victory here is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Their defense is stout, should be able to hold Ohio State to a few points. Ohio State, with their young receiving core, they're going to be pressured in this game. Thinking a lot about the atmosphere, hearing a lot of noises, not used to this kind of loud environment. This is their first real, true road test besides Oregon, and they lost at Oregon. So I like the under 47.5 here. I think Penn State just grinds this game out and gets it done. Next game, University of Louisiana Monroe at Marshall. I'm taking ULM plus 10.5. Marshall has not played a football game since October 17th. That is 2.5 weeks they have not played an actual game of football. That is simply too long of a break for competition football, and I think they're going to mess up many a times early in this game. If you don't play a snap of football for 2.5 weeks, everything's not just going to be fine and dandy the first few possessions you have. You're going to mess up a decent amount. So I like ULM plus 10.5. ULM does have the worst offense, but their defense is better in this matchup. ULM averages 301 yards per game compared to Marshall's 388. ULM defense gives up 383. Marshall gives up 415. So I think the spread is too many points. I think ULM takes an early lead, give me like 7-0, 10-0. Then Marshall comes back, makes it interesting. I think this is a one-score game. I do not see this getting to 10.5. It's just way too many points for me here. So give me ULM and the points. Next game. This is probably my favorite bet of the day. UNC -2 at Florida State. UNC heads into Florida State to obtain the free win given in the ACC, just like every single other team that has played Florida State besides Cal. Cal has to be feeling pretty bad right now. UNC offense ranked 34th in the country, averaging 454 yards per game. Florida State, oh boy, ranked 244th, averaging just 289 yards per game. It takes real skill to average less than 300 yards a game on offense as a Power 4 school, especially playing Florida State. You have probably one of the most resource-heavy teams in the ACC, and you are 1-7, not averaging 300 yards a game. And the $1.2 million quarterback you went out and got in the NIL transfer portal is already on the bench because of a quote-unquote injury. They suck. Florida State has already lost their top 3 wide receiver commits. They have all flipped to different schools. Florida State recruiting down the drain. What does that mean? If you want to have a chance to be good next year at football with high quality recruits that you were able to get last year, you have to start playing them now. If you've been watching Florida State games recently, you have realized their offensive line have switched mostly younger class. They've put in 2 freshman quarterbacks. Their defense now consists of a lot of freshmen and sophomores. They're playing the younger guys in hopes that they will stay in the program, build confidence, build their repertoire on defense and offense, just get them game time in hopes they stay with Florida State and don't transfer out. So that is why I'm taking UNC -2. UNC, a very good offensive team. Their defense has been picking it up recently. They're coached very well. They know what they got going on. Give me the Tar Heels -2 at Florida State. Next game we're looking at, it is another one of my favorite bets of the week. It is Colorado State at Nevada. I'm taking Colorado State -110 on the money line. This game doesn't make any sense to me. Colorado State is the much better team. Nevada's starting quarterback is questionable for this game. Nevada has lost 3 out of their last 4 games straight up. And the previous week, they played in Hawaii. And they now got to come back home from Hawaii. There's no way that is just an easy flight. Heck no. Nevada starting quarterback listed as questionable. He is basically their entire team. He is a dual threat quarterback. He's great at running the ball, not as great as throwing the ball. He's like a poor man's Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's obviously saying a lot considering how good Lamar is, but that's the kind of style you're getting. He's better with his legs than with the air. Without him, they cannot run or throw the ball. The offense crumbles into a shell of itself. They don't know what to do. Colorado State has won 3 games in a row. Their defense has allowed a total of 19 points given up in their last 2 games combined. If Colorado State wins this game, they become bowl eligible. They can 100% run the gauntlet in the rest of their regular season and win the Mountain West outright. This is a big game for Colorado State, not as much as a big game for Nevada. Again, starting quarterback questionable, lost 3 out of their last 4, traveling back from home from Hawaii. Colorado State's a better team. No idea why this line is only -110. It makes no sense. Vegas is getting caught sleeping. Next game. This is a bounce back game for Syracuse. Give me Syracuse +4 at home versus Virginia Tech. This line is simply disrespectful. I understand Syracuse just got destroyed by Pitt on national television, but surely this is a Kyle McCord bounce back game. I don't like Kyle McCord, but there's no way he's that bad. Syracuse offense ranked 22nd in the country, averaging 470 yards per game. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech is ranked 124th, averaging just 380 yards per game. Syracuse also has a better defense than Virginia Tech. Q's given up 348 yards per game. Virginia Tech's defense given up 376 yards per game. Virginia Tech has won 3 straight games, and I think that is why they're getting way too much credit here. Kyle McCord bounce back game for show. I think he threw 5 interceptions and 3 pick sixes against Pittsburgh in the Friday night game last week, which is horrible and disgusting. But prior to that game, McCord was one of the best quarterbacks in the country in terms of passing yards, passing percentages, passing touchdowns. He just had one really, really, really bad game on national TV. So I'm going to back Syracuse here at home +4. They can still have a good season if they win out. They just got to put the Pittsburgh game behind them and start playing good football. Next game, 2 bets here. I am taking TCU +3 and the over of 64.5. I don't understand who in Vegas was making this line, but they must have been hammered when doing so. There is no reason Baylor should be favored at home against a TCU team that is better in literally every single aspect of football. Baylor questionably getting their starting quarterback back in the lineup named DeQuan Finn, but I think they're worse with him playing at quarterback. So I kind of want him to come back into the lineup so TCU can just smack him. TCU better ranked offense and defense. Offense averaging 444 yards per game compared to Baylor's 420. TCU's defense giving up just 355 yards compared to Baylor's 382. Both of these teams have won their last 2 games. Baylor's have been very high scoring, so that is why I'm going to take the over of 64.5. What I'm hoping happens this game is DeQuan Finn, their original starting quarterback, comes back from injury, plays the first half. TCU goes up like 28-0. Then they put back in their second string quarterback for Baylor. They come back in the second half, tie the game up. It goes into overtime. TCU wins in overtime 8-6. That would be the perfect scenario. Okay, let's get on to the next game. All right, next game, we are headed into the MAC. We got Toledo taking on Eastern Michigan. Love me some Saturday MACtion. Not quite as good as Wednesday MACtion, but I'll take some Saturday MACtion. These two teams, I don't see much difference between these two schools here. Very similar on both offense and defense. Offenses are ranked 96th and 131st, averaging 406, 483 yards per game. Defenses are ranked 129th and 165th, giving up 370 and 390 yards per game. Toledo has lost 2 out of their last 3 games, and they're coming off an embarrassing loss to Bowling Green by 15 points. Eastern Michigan has also lost 2 out of their last 3 games. However, their most recent loss was a 4-point loss to Akron. Now, normally Akron is the worst team in the MAC, but this year it is Kent State, who is probably the worst team in college football. So that Akron lost, not as bad as you think. I think this game is going to be pretty close. I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit on Eastern Michigan money line at home. They are 3-1 at home straight up on the season, and they've played some good schools. Out of the Eastern Michigan's 2 losses, 2 of them are out of their 3 losses. 2 of those schools are Power 4 schools. So you take those out of the equation. Eastern Michigan's 5-1 straight up on the year. I'll take them at home, getting 8 points all day. Final game here, it is Northwestern at Purdue. This is probably the only time you're going to be taking Purdue for the rest of the season. So I'm going to rock Purdue at home plus 105 on the money line. This is probably going to be the ugliest, sloppiest game of football you are going to watch for the entire season. Both of these teams are horrible on offense and defense. This is Purdue's realistic last chance to get a win for the entire season. Their next 4 games after this one include Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, and Indiana. So they are not beating any of those teams. They are not within 20 points of any of those teams. So this is the final game for them to get a win at home and period for the rest of the season. That is the only analysis I have for this game. This is Purdue's get-up spot. If they want to win 2 football games this year, this is where it has to be done. So give me Purdue and the Boilermakers. Everybody boil the fuck up right now. Plus 105 on the money line. Get her done. All right, that is going to do it for me and this video. If you have made it this far, please like and subscribe. I do appreciate you watching. There is a part 1 of this video, which I posted on Sunday night. So if you have not seen the part 1 video for the Week 10 college picks, please go check it out. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.